Hey, Watershed family. So if you know anything about photography or videography, you know that getting the perfect lighting is extremely important. In fact, photographers and videographers will go to great lengths to make sure they have just the right lighting. And before we had some of our modern technology that's kind of able to, where we're able to create an artificial perfect lighting, photographers and videographers had to find the perfect timing and the perfect place in order to get a good shot. What I love about this analogy is that in the Gospels, Jesus, when he spoke and taught the people, often waited for the perfect timing in the perfect place to say the things that he said. And our second I am statement for today is no different. When Jesus said, "I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life." He had just spent time in Jerusalem celebrating what was known as the Feast of Booths. Now, for this festival, people would flock to Jerusalem and they would camp around the city in booths or tents. And they would set up lights all around the city. It was known as the Festival of Lights because it was such a beautiful time to visit Jerusalem because of all the lights. And on the last great day, they would celebrate the lighting of these 4 towering menorahs that would flood the streets of Jerusalem with brilliant light. The priests, in fact, would do these impressive torch dances, and the people would gather and would play instruments and sing. It was a way to celebrate the Shekinah glory of God that had led and guided the children of Israel when they were wandering in the wilderness after they had escaped slavery in Egypt. And it is after celebrating this festival that Jesus declared himself to be the light of the world. And he surely didn't say this at this time by accident. He was making a point that I, as the Son of God, I am the Shekinah glory of God, come down to visit his people, to save his people from darkness and from sin, to shine his brilliant light, to eradicate the power of sin and darkness, and to flood his people with the power to become like him, to become children of light, bearers of his goodness and his light, and to spread that light and life to the rest of the world. You see, light gives us a beautiful picture of what God is like. Light extinguishes darkness. Darkness cannot survive when light is around. I remember once David and I visited these caves in the state of Kentucky called Mammoth Cave Park. And they took us down to this very dark portion of the cave and they turned out all the lights. It was completely pitch black. I could not see my hand in front of my face even when I put it up this close. And our guide suddenly lit one teeny tiny match. And suddenly the room was flooded with light. And I could not only see my hand in front of my face, but I could see David's face and I could see the other people around us. I could begin to make out the details of the cave. Darkness had to flee just because of that little teeny tiny light. Yesterday, when we talked about the bread of life, Jesus said that his food was to do the will of his Father who had sent him. We talked about how the ultimate will of God for our lives is for us to love him and to love others. And one of the ways for us to accomplish the will of God in our lives is for us to be like him, to be the light of the world, a city set on a hill that cannot be hidden. You see, when we place our faith and trust in Jesus Christ, he floods us with his presence and enables us to then display his light to the rest of the world. And when we go through life living like Jesus lived his life, by doing good and by showing genuine love to others, we are spreading the light of Christ, and we are eradicating evil and darkness. And it only takes a teeny tiny portion of light to make the darkness flee. Oh, brothers and sisters, may we be that light. May we let the light of Christ shine brilliantly through us in the way that we live our lives by loving others well. Thanks, guys.